in the absence of the knowledge an auditor does.
Let me tell you something. I'm not going to discuss auditing here today. Rest assured on that.
But that's her work. Auditing. It's her work as an auditor that led us to this conversation right now. So we can't take that out of the equation because it's very significant part of the equation.
Maybe to you, but those of us who have read the tribunal report, we know that the report was not about auditing as she has tried to project in the media. The report was about unprofessionalism, abuse of office, and breach of confidentiality.
That was more the reason why I asked the question. Dr. Blyden, quickly, that was more the reason why I asked that you enable the public understand what's your understanding regarding
and tell you a trap that I sent over the weekend. I knew that since this whole saga started, we had not seen any evidence to show the breach of confidentiality by Tamba Momoh and Lara Pearce of information that came to their way in their capacity as very senior government officials. We saw it in the Africanist press in October, and listen to the dates, October 2021. Africanist press informed us that the office of the president had been caught with fake receipts. That the office of the president had created a fake receipt for a hotel in South Africa, and the hotel in South Africa replied to say, not only is this receipt a fake, but we should take the person who created this receipt to court. Africanist press. But they never showed us those receipts. They never showed us any evidence of correspondence to justify their claims. But they kept on telling us that there's evidence from Lebanon, that the auditors, with confidence. And as we sat up to this weekend, Sierra Leoneans had not seen any evidence to show that Africanist press received information from the audit service of Lara Pearce and Tamba Momoh.
So what are you trying to say?
I had to get them to produce that evidence, and thankfully, they did it last night. Exactly what I wanted them to do. I wanted this country to see that when Lara Pearce and Tamba Momoh, in their very sacred positions as Auditor General and Deputy Auditor General, came across what appeared to be criminal fake receipts at the office of the president, they took those sensitive documents and leaked them to Africanist press. There was no way for me to prove...
Dr. Blyden, have you evidences?
There was no way for me to prove the breach of confidentiality, because Africanist press would have said they never published the receipts. They would have said we never published any correspondence. But you know what happened last night? All over social media, a program called We Had, they produced the actual email dated October 2021 from Tamba Momoh on behalf of the Audit Service of Sierra Leone to these hotels in Lebanon, to these hotels in... I'm not here to speak for the government, but what makes it so bad is that according to Lara Pearce herself, in a recent epic radio interview that she did, and according to the tribunal report, they never took this information back to the office of the president to say, we have sent this email to South Africa, we have sent this email to Lebanon, and they have debunked that this is a fake receipt. According to them, and according to the tribunal report, the time that Africanist press in October 2021 was publishing this sensitive information about the office of the president and alleged fake receipts and alleged correspondences from South Africa, even the president, and according to Tamba Momoh, and according to the tribunal report,
proof that, yes, it's the email, but what's the proof that it came from Tamba Momoh or Lara Pearce to the public?
Because nobody in confidential emails, the emails, in fact, yesterday I was watching, I was just laughing. The emails that were released, the emails that were released were from Tamba Momoh's private email, his private correspondence he sent to these hotels were the ones that, and the thing is, Africanist Press was quoting verbatim from what we have now seen as evidence.
Sylvia, if I send you an email, you, the receiver, has the same access to that email as much as I, the sender. So if Samuel, hold on, so if Samuel is to get access to that email, it could either come from me, the sender, it could also come from you, the receiver, or anybody in copy. Think about emails, it differs. It differs.
The emails released yesterday night.
Emails differ from WhatsApp, for example, or WhatsApp chat. With a screenshot, you would know if it was the sender or the receiver based on the positioning of the message. But it's not so with email, so it leaves us with.
It is so with the emails
how have you arrived at the conclusion that it was Tamba and Lara who leaked that email, not perhaps where they sent it?
I hope you will listen to me just now. I really hope you did, because what I said was, even the office of the president, according to them, had not yet seen the denials from these hotels.
But the hotels they sent it to had seen it and replied. That's exactly the point I'm making.
Okay, so basically what
you are saying... So how did you conclude that it was the sender and not the receiver that gave access to those emails to whoever got access to them?
Now, quoted auditors. Africanist Press in October 2021 quoted auditors. Africanist Press in November 2021 quoted auditors. But my city to Gambia, to South Africa, to Lebanon, and each of them was quoted verbatim by Africanist Press, but they never produced the evidence of the emails or the receipts. And I know why they didn't do it. Because at that time, Lara Pearce and Tamba Momoh were working as senior government officials. So that type of serious breach of confidentiality, Africanist Press needed to protect their source at that time.
Dr. Blyden, I want to take you back quickly. At some point in time, you mentioned that just yesterday, you saw the receipts on...
I tricked them to do it yesterday. I set the trap.
You set the trap.
They fell into the trap. And they released it yesterday night.
The public will see same to be hasty conclusion as to the authenticity of what you call a receipt. Every other person, including yourself, have been looking for the past 3 years, Dr. Blyden.
It was released, and we had the opportunity to read them. And when you
so
go
where are
to
these receipts? Are they in those files?
No, they're all over social media this morning. It's all over from yesterday night. There's a program, it's called We Are. They released it there. Now, the article written by Africanist Press in October 2021, which protected Lara Pearce and protected Tamba Momoh, because they made sure, they just said auditors. They didn't show the emails, they didn't show the fake receipts, according to them, allegedly fake receipts. Africanist Press never showed it. Only she had this epic radio interview, and I could see her basically saying almost verbatim what Africanist Press had published in October 2021 and in November 2021. And I knew that, listen, I have to trick this woman to produce these emails, to produce these receipts for the public to know, because she was verbatim saying almost what Africanist Press said October 2021.
It could be verbatim, but not the same.
I said verbatim. Go and watch. Go and you could actually see it, but I had no way to connect the dots and put it to the public like I am now doing, because it would have been a supposition. Now it's no longer a supposition. The emails are there, the date, the time, the email address. They released it all last night because they wanted to prove that yes, fake receipts exist. Yes, correspondence exists, not knowing it it was a trap I set for them to fall into. And they fell into it big time. So the breach of confidentiality, which you would not expect from a position of an Auditor General and a Deputy Auditor General, is now confirmed.
Dr. Blyden, are you of the notice? I have the understanding that...
Sorry to interrupt this. I think we're having some technical issues. We'll just go on a quick break and we'll come back to continue the conversation.
Just so that we Lara Pearce and Tamba Momoh, just so they could, of course, lending the views on the issues being discussed in the program. We've similarly so shared Zoom links on, to them, just so that they could join the conversation. But we are yet to get them to respond. But nonetheless, we still have in the studios Dr. Sylvia Blyden, who is here to, of course, talk on a number of issues, but more specifically, receipts which she says were out overnight. That has to do with the Africanist reports that is dated some years back. But again, Dr. Blyden, before we go for that break, I had wanted to ask, are you of the knowledge that the reports that led to the suspension of Lara Pearce and her deputy were in a stage of it being a draft before even the finalization that led to their suspension as we speak, Dr. Blyden?
Yes, very much so. 100%, yeah. I'm fully aware of that.
There has been a lot of concerns from the public as to why suspend someone for something that is in the process of it being finalized before even being published, Dr. Blyden.
You see, this is also the mistake that Lara Pearce and Tamba Momoh are doing. They are impugning their credibility even more by some of the gimmicks they are doing, by some of what they are saying, like what Lara did on Epic Radio, so unfortunate. She was not suspended because of the audit report that she was preparing. She was suspended because there was a very clear breach of confidentiality. There was a clear abuse of office. It was so glaring that there was this massive leakage of information that had not even been made known to the office of the president.
And what was that information part of?
The ones that just came out last night.
What was it to be a part of? The audit service report?
No, the leakage of receipts, the leakage of correspondence to Africanist press.
So the information she was gathering, she and her deputy and the entire team, what was it for? The audit service report?
Oh, most definitely.
So then how do you dissociate that
I'm not dissociating
from her work with the audit
I am
service?
not dissociating it. You have to understand what I'm saying here. She was not suspended because of the contents of the audit report. She was not suspended because she dared to investigate the office of the president. She was suspended because it is scary to have somebody as high as that position have information surrounding the office of the president appearing direct from your auditors to Africanist press. It means you're not in control of your audit service.
Will you connect?
And you would agree with me that ever since she got suspended, the leakages to Africanist press ended from audit service.
Will you contend public's interest to that of confidentiality?
I have worked at the presidency. As I said when I started off, I want to be president of Sierra Leone. I know what it means to be president. I know what it means to be the head of state. A small aberration around the head of state can throw a whole country into chaos. A head of state falls sick and goes into a coma. If it is that information is not managed properly, it can throw the whole country into chaos. We are not talking about an ordinary citizen. We are talking about the head of state, the supreme executive authority who holds this country together for the period of 5 years that he's in charge. That's a very